Welcome to the Discourse Analyzer AI Toolkit, where articles come alive. You're listening to the audio version of our article. For the full text and an interactive experience, check out the link in the description below. Interact with any selection using our AI assistant to enhance your understanding. Let's explore.
Corporate discourse in Discourse Analysis. Interactive Assistant Corporate discourse refers to the communication practices used by organizations to interact with internal and external audiences, including employees, customers, shareholders, regulators, and the public. It encompasses a wide range of communicative acts, from formal corporate reports and public relations, PR, statements to internal emails and marketing campaigns. In discourse analysis, corporate discourse is examined to understand how language is used to construct corporate identities, manage crises, maintain relationships, and negotiate power dynamics within and outside the organization. Discourse analysis of corporate communication focuses on how language functions to project a company's values, establish authority, and achieve business objectives, while also reflecting broader social, economic, and ideological concerns. By analyzing the specific linguistic features of corporate discourse, such as rhetorical strategies, framing, politeness, and narrative construction, researchers can uncover the ways in which organizations use language to shape public perception, influence employee behavior, and maintain or challenge social norms. Key features of corporate discourse in discourse analysis. 1. Framing and corporate identity. Corporate discourse is central to the construction of a corporate identity, how a company presents itself to the world and its stakeholders. Discourse analysis examines how language is used to frame this identity in ways that align with the company's mission, values, and strategic goals. Example: in a mission statement, a technology company might write, "We strive to innovate and revolutionize the future of communication," using language that positions itself as a leader in innovation. Discourse analysis would explore how the terms innovate and revolutionize construct a forward-thinking, technologically advanced corporate identity, reflecting the company's desired image. 2. Power dynamics and hierarchical language. Corporate discourse often reflects the power dynamics within an organization, where language is used to establish or reinforce authority. Discourse analysis focuses on how power relations are communicated through directive language, polite requests, and implicit expectations, as well as how subordinates navigate these dynamics in their responses. Example: in an internal email, a manager might write, "Please ensure that the report is completed by the end of the week," using polite but directive language to assert authority. Discourse analysis would investigate how the polite form mitigates the command and how the hierarchical relationship is reinforced through the manager's language. 3. Crisis communication and reputation management. During times of crisis, companies use strategic crisis communication to protect their reputation and manage public perception. Discourse analysis examines how language is used to frame the crisis, address concerns, and restore trust with stakeholders. Example: after a product recall, a company might issue a statement saying, "We sincerely apologize for the inconvenience and are taking immediate steps to ensure this issue is resolved." Discourse analysis would explore how the language of apology and responsibility is used to manage the company's reputation and demonstrate accountability to the public. 4. Corporate social responsibility. CSR, discourse. Many companies use corporate social responsibility, CSR, discourse to highlight their commitment to ethical practices, environmental sustainability, or community engagement. Discourse analysis examines how CSR initiatives are framed to align with the company's values and appeal to stakeholders' concerns. Example: a CSR report might state, "We are committed to reducing our carbon footprint by investing in renewable energy sources," positioning the company as environmentally responsible. Discourse analysis would focus on how the language of commitment and investment reinforces the company's ethical brand and addresses public concerns about sustainability. 5. Rhetorical strategies and persuasion. Corporate discourse often involves rhetorical strategies to persuade stakeholders, whether in marketing, investor communications, or public relations. Discourse analysis explores how language is used to appeal to logic, logos, emotions, pathos, and credibility, ethos, in order to achieve corporate goals. Example: in an advertisement, a company might use emotional appeals with language like, Join us in building a better world for future generations, targeting the audience's sense of social responsibility. Discourse Analysis would investigate how the company combines ethical appeals and aspirational language to persuade consumers to associate the brand with positive social change. 6. Internal communication and organizational culture. Corporate discourse also shapes organizational culture by influencing how employees communicate, collaborate, and relate to one another. Discourse analysis examines how internal communication practices reflect the values and norms of the organization, as well as how language reinforces or challenges power structures within the company. Example: in an all-staff email, a CEO might write, "Our team has achieved incredible success this quarter. Let's keep up the momentum and continue pushing forward," using inclusive language to create a sense of collective achievement and motivation. Discourse analysis would explore how the language fosters a positive organizational culture and strengthens the relationship between leadership and employees. 7. Branding and marketing discourse. Branding and marketing discourse is essential in shaping how consumers perceive a company's products or services. Discourse analysis looks at how companies use language to construct their brand identity, appeal to consumer values, and differentiate themselves from competitors. Example: a car company might use the slogan, "Built for Adventure," to align its brand with ideas of durability and exploration. Discourse analysis would examine how the language evokes certain lifestyles and aspirations, appealing to consumers' desires for freedom and experience, while reinforcing the brand's identity. Methods for analyzing corporate discourse in discourse. 1. Critical discourse analysis, CDA. Critical discourse analysis, CDA, examines how corporate language reflects and reinforces power relations, ideologies, and social inequalities. CDA focuses on how discourse serves to legitimize corporate practices, marginalize alternative perspectives, or maintain the status quo. Example: a CDA of sustainability reports might reveal how corporations use language to present themselves as environmentally responsible, while downplaying the environmental impact of their core business practices. The analysis would focus on how corporate discourse aligns with broader societal concerns about sustainability, while protecting corporate interests. 2. Frame analysis. Frame analysis investigates how specific issues, events, or products are framed within corporate discourse. This method focuses on how companies emphasize certain aspects of their business or practices while downplaying others to shape stakeholder perceptions. Example: in response to a lawsuit, a company might frame the issue as a misunderstanding that is being resolved, rather than admitting fault. Frame analysis would explore how the company uses language to downplay the severity of the situation and shift focus to the resolution, influencing how the public interprets the event. 3. Narrative analysis. Narrative analysis looks at how companies construct stories about their brand, history, or products to engage with stakeholders. This method focuses on how corporate narratives create coherence between a company's identity, values, and actions. Example: a tech company might construct a narrative of innovation and progress, describing its journey from a small startup to a global leader in technology. Narrative analysis would explore how this story is used to build the company's brand identity and foster loyalty among employees and customers. 4. Genre analysis. Genre analysis examines the specific genres of corporate communication, such as press releases, annual reports, emails, or advertisements, to understand how they follow particular conventions and serve specific functions within the organization. Example: an annual report might follow a standard structure, including sections on financial performance, company achievements, and future goals. Genre analysis would explore how the language used in these sections reflects the company's strategic priorities and communication style, guiding how stakeholders interpret the company's success and direction. Examples of corporate discourse in discourse analysis. Example 1. Managing public relations in a crisis. After a data breach, a company might issue a public statement that reads, "We take the security of our customers' data seriously and are taking immediate steps to enhance our cybersecurity measures." Discourse analysis would focus on how the company uses language to mitigate damage, reassure the public, and re-establish trust, framing the breach as a temporary issue that is being addressed. Example 2. Internal memos and power relations. In an internal memo, a department head might write, "All team members are expected to submit their progress reports by Friday," using a directive tone to assert authority. Discourse analysis would examine how the memo reflects hierarchical power structures within the organization and how language is used to communicate expectations and maintain control. Example 3. Branding and marketing language in advertising. A food company might market a new product with the slogan, "Pure ingredients, naturally delicious," positioning the brand as healthy and environmentally friendly. Discourse analysis would explore how the language emphasizes simplicity and naturalness, aligning with consumer trends that prioritize health and sustainability. Example 4. Corporate social responsibility, CSR, in sustainability reports. A company's sustainability report might state, "Our commitment to reducing waste has led to a 25% decrease in landfill use this year." Discourse analysis would investigate how the company frames its environmental efforts as both significant and progressive, using language that positions it as a responsible corporate citizen, while subtly promoting its brand image. Example 5. Framing competition in investor reports. In an investor report, a company might write, "Despite increased competition, our strategic investments have positioned us for sustained growth," framing competition as a challenge that the company is overcoming through strategy and foresight. Discourse analysis would focus on how the language reassures investors by framing the company as resilient and forward-thinking. Challenges in analyzing corporate discourse through discourse. 1. Ambiguity and corporate jargon. Corporate discourse often involves ambiguous language or jargon that can obscure meaning, making it difficult for discourse analysts to uncover the underlying messages. Analysts must navigate corporate speak to reveal the strategic intentions behind vague or technical terms. 2. Ideological bias. Corporate discourse often reflects the ideological biases of those in power, shaping how issues are framed to serve corporate interests. Discourse analysts must be aware of these biases when analyzing how language reinforces certain worldviews or marginalizes dissenting perspectives. 3. Multimodal communication. Corporate communication is increasingly multimodal, involving text, visuals, videos, and social media platforms. Discourse analysts must consider how different modes of communication interact and complement one another in constructing corporate messages. Conclusion. Corporate discourse plays a critical role in shaping how organizations communicate their identity, manage relationships, and achieve strategic objectives. Through discourse analysis, researchers can examine how language constructs corporate identities, manages crises, reinforces power dynamics, and engages stakeholders. By analyzing communication across various corporate settings, whether in press releases, internal emails, advertisements, or CSR reports, discourse analysis reveals the underlying strategies and ideologies that drive corporate communication. Understanding the role of language in corporate discourse provides valuable insights into how companies maintain authority, influence public perception, and navigate the complex relationships between business, society, and power. Frequently asked questions. What is corporate discourse in discourse analysis? Corporate discourse refers to the ways in which organizations communicate both internally and externally, encompassing written and spoken interactions like reports, PR statements, internal emails, and advertisements. Discourse analysis of corporate communication studies how language constructs corporate identities, handles crises, manages power dynamics, and influences stakeholder relationships. Why is it important to study corporate discourse? Studying corporate discourse helps uncover how organizations use language to build their identity, navigate crises, project values, and engage with stakeholders. It reveals how corporate communication can reinforce or challenge societal norms, maintain power structures, and shape public perception. How does corporate discourse construct a corporate identity? Companies use language strategically to frame their identity in alignment with their mission and values. For example, a tech company might say, "We lead through innovation," positioning itself as cutting-edge and forward-thinking. Discourse analysis examines how such language choices reinforce or reshape a company's image. How does corporate discourse reflect power dynamics? Corporate language often shows hierarchical structures, with superiors using directive language like, "Ensure this is completed by Monday," while subordinates may use more deferential expressions. Discourse analysis explores these interactions to reveal how authority is established and maintained within organizations. What role does language play in corporate crisis communication? Language is crucial in managing crises to protect a company's reputation. A statement like, "We regret the inconvenience and are taking steps to address the issue," uses polite, reassuring language to frame the company as responsible and proactive. Discourse analysis studies how such language mitigates damage and reassures stakeholders. What is the function of CSR discourse? Corporate social responsibility, CSR, discourse is used to highlight a company's commitment to ethical practices and sustainability. Companies frame these initiatives positively, such as, "We are investing in renewable energy to reduce our carbon footprint," to align their image with social and environmental concerns. Discourse analysis investigates how CSR language reinforces a company's ethical brand. How are rhetorical strategies used in corporate discourse? Rhetorical strategies in corporate communication use appeals to logic, emotions, or credibility to persuade audiences. For instance, an advertisement saying, "Join us in creating a brighter future," appeals to pathos, inspiring an emotional connection. Discourse analysis explores how these strategies shape consumer responses and support business objectives. How does corporate discourse shape internal organizational culture? Internal communications, like all staff emails or meeting speeches, often reflect and shape workplace culture. Phrases like, "Our team's dedication is unmatched," promote a positive and motivated environment. Discourse analysis examines how such language influences employee morale and aligns behavior with organizational values. What methods are used to analyze corporate discourse? Critical discourse analysis, CDA, reveals power relations and ideological biases. Frame analysis studies how language frames specific issues. Narrative analysis examines storytelling in brand building. Genre analysis analyzes specific communication formats like reports or ads to uncover their role and structure. Can you give examples of corporate discourse analysis? Crisis management. A public statement after a data breach might be analyzed for its use of language to downplay severity and project responsibility. Internal memos. The language in a directive email from a department head may show how authority is exerted and how employees are expected to comply. CSR reports. A sustainability report claiming, "Our initiatives have reduced waste by 25%, can be analyzed for its framing of environmental efforts and alignment with ethical branding. What challenges exist in analyzing corporate discourse? Ambiguous language, corporate jargon, or vague terms can obscure the real intent of communication. Ideological bias. Language often reflects the perspectives of those in power, potentially marginalizing alternative views. Multimodal communication. Integrating analysis of visual and textual elements in various media can be complex. How does understanding corporate discourse benefit organizations? Organizations can leverage insights from discourse analysis to refine their communication strategies, align their internal culture with stated values, improve crisis management responses, and ensure their messaging resonates authentically with both internal and external audiences.